to the O.U.C.H cast. As usual, I have now 4 down to 2. I have Enrique.
Yeah, I'm still here. I ain't going anywhere, man. You're stuck with me, bro.
Yeah, dude, it's death do us part.
Life till death do us part.
How you been? Good?
Yeah, you know.
Change of pace here where we're recording.
I had a kid tell me the other day when I took off my glasses, he's like, Mr. Enrique, you look old. I'm like, bro, I am old. What are you talking about?
Bitch, I am old.
Yeah, man. I was like, why you gotta hurt my feelings? He goes, well, because when you have your glasses on, you look much younger. And I'm like, no, don't. You know what? Shut up. Shut up.
I've known you since 1992.
Yeah.
December 15, 1992, and I got that information from someone special. Someone that's actually here in the room with us.
Special.
He's the original. It was him and me who started O.U.C.H. Really, literally, it was FCH is what it was.
None of that's legal binding.
It doesn't mean he gets any ownership of this, but I mean, he started it with me. And ladies and gentlemen, here with us in studio, or actually his hotel room, we have Mark.
Yeah.
Hey, talk to me.
Hey everyone, my name is Marcos. Mark, as you guys know me.
Mark and the Funky Bunch.
Yeah.
Unlike Angel, who formerly known as Flabio.
It's not Flabio, it's Fabian. No, wait.
Fabian.
Fabio. No,
I knew Angel
Fabio.
before he was Angel.
Yeah, it was just Fabio.
I mean, it's arguable that he is still Angel or isn't. I mean, I don't know. Are you Angel?
Not really, no.
Not really. It's like a thing you have to kind of convince yourself of every morning, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
And that's why right now you currently have two eyeglasses. You have one on your eyes and then you have one on your hat, which is very, very funny.
One is my reading and the other one is my everything glasses now.
Oh, tell me,
I'm old.
Tell me you're old without telling me you're old.
Yeah.
You are a rude, terrible person.
Dick. So, Mark, how you been, dude? I haven't seen you in years.
Yeah, we haven't seen each other in years. I've been great, though. I've been really good. It's I'm kind of starstruck here.
Why?
Because I listen to you guys all the time.
How you think?
Man, you
So
have
he's
too
like,
much time on your hands.
So he's the one.
I'm that one.
He's that one listener.
Oh, I remember one time you showed us on the metrics.
Yeah.
One of them said Bakersfield.
That's him. That's
That's
Mark.
me. That's me. So I'm out of Bakersfield, like you guys mentioned. But good to be here, man.
That's
really
awesome,
great.
dude.
It's exciting.
Dude, appreciate we finally
It's
were able to do
awesome.
this.
Absolutely.
How's life treating you?
Life, as funny as it is, right? They say it has its ups and downs, and so mine has been the same. But recently, I'm on a high. I think, sometimes it's good to kind of reconcile life and see how things are going and then just move in the right direction. That's what I'm doing right now.
Right on, dude. Right on. So me and Mark met when I was in 4th grade. I moved into the back house where his dad owned. 90?
I don't know. What would it be?
1990? 1989?
That sounds about right. Yeah.
Something like that?
So, wait a minute, was your dad the landlord?
Yeah,
Yes.
Dad was a landlord.
Oh.
He bought the house and it had like a little shack in the back. And then
And you guys were our
moved
first
down.
tenants. So it's like,
Yeah,
right
just
when we
moved in.
you
Yeah,
guys
we moved in, yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah, dude, when we fucking clicked it from the minute.
Yeah.
So that's why you called Marcos my lord whenever we see him, my lord.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons, Enrique. One of the reasons.
It's property rights management.
Enrique, you said you wouldn't say anything. Come on.
He's like, yes, my lord.
Oh, Jesus Christ. No. Anyway. No, but yeah, no, we bonded really quickly and we got into a lot of hijinks, and then his dad got those old VHS camcorders.
Oh,
and
man.
that set the whole thing going.
That set everything in motion.
But since only he could use it, I had to be the stupid guinea pig who would be recording. By the way,
I don't think you minded being the beginning.
no, I didn't. I like the attention. By the way, you hear that ambulance in the background and all that. Sorry, this is just we're in the hotel room, so there's not much soundproofing.
Guarantee you that it will not show up on, because every single time. No, I don't. There's been many times when you've pointed out things, and then when I go back to listen to the show, I can't hear them.
Oh, that's
They're
funny.
just not there.
Well, I do change the gain.
I just think that you worry so much.
Yeah. Moving on.
No. This is okay. Now that we have a neutral party, I want to say this out loud. By the way, every time we do this show, it's a way for me to therapeutic talk shit about Angel. So here we go.
For it.
This is my come at me, bitch. Right. Anyways, so he's so hyper focused on this idea of perfection that he ends up like kind of being imperfect, which is beautiful. I love it.
They're ignorant. That's ignorant.
I'll give you an example. Like, for your years, we were talking about video, right? Like, we need to be in a video format. It's how we're gonna, like, we've been doing this for 4 years, and like, I feel we at the height of our show with when all four of us were still all doing it. It was great. We could have done like some video. I think it would have taken off a little bit more, but Angel was very insistent. No, it has to be perfect before I can do a video. It has to look this way and that way and whatever. And in reality, it's just like, dude, it doesn't
I have
even
a
matter.
vision, dude. I have a vision.
You know, I think that when we have that vision, it's going to be great. But I think sometimes you just got to kind of, Mickey Mouse it and then
Balance it out a little bit.
fake it till you make it. But Angel very much is worried about perfection. So he'll point out stuff like, well, if you hear that noise and really it's not there, or he'll say like, well, if this and it's not, it's like, oh, Angel, just be the Wizard of Oz, stay behind the curtain.
I actually like the old Angel, the one that used to interrupt you all the time.
Here we go.
Yeah, but I haven't been able to because I have all the shit that I have to run down.
Angel balances me out because I talk too much. It's been pointed out over and over. At this point, I have to accept it.
Yeah,
That's a good one.
Yeah. So we met there. He was the camcorder. I was the artist, and then we had everyone else start joining in. And bada bang, bada boom became O.U.C.H. We did it for years. And then he also sent me links to all the videos and stuff we used to do with it. He was able to save from the VHS.
So it turns out I was able to salvage some of the videos. And I actually thought about this like long time ago because originally they were VHS tapes, right? Well, when DVD, or I should say, probably DVD recorders came out, right, on the computers, right? I decided, okay, I'm going to buy the adapter for the VCR to hook up to the computer, put it on DVDs.
Yeah.
Well, now they're on DVDs, and now those are going obsolete. So I said, oh, no, I got to
put them on
digitize
YouTube.
this. Yeah, so there they are.
That's cool.
But they're not open to the public yet. Nobody wants to share them.
No, don't share them. They're hilarious. They're hilarious, but don't share them.
I mean, we always talk about like we're lucky that we didn't grow up with telephones when we were kids, because can you imagine all that evidence of like the stupidity that we would get into? And I'm glad for our generation not having all of it documented. But then again, here you go telling us you have some DVD.
We have some. Believe it or not, we have some. Yeah.
And now we really can say to the tapes.
To the tapes. So then that's the start of our friendship, and then he introduced me to Enrique, and my life has been a living hell since.
Yeah, right. I mean, okay, so we always get confused about this. Like, so he says that he remembers meeting when I showed up to do I went to Suva with the marching band, and we did like a whole review thing. Now, here's the thing: my freshman year in high school, I was in beginning band because I didn't,
Because you sucked.
I did. I didn't play an instrument at the time. It wasn't until my sophomore
Just the
year.
skin flute. That's it.
Okay, well, man, you know what? No, no.
That's nasty.
Yeah, that is nasty. That's gross. All right. So, anyways, So my sophomore year is when I started marching band, and that's when like Mr. I want to say my freshman year, Mr. Hastings was still there. Mm-hmm. Mr. Hastings was and then he was fired
for diddling kids.
No, for budget cuts.
Oh.
For budget cuts. Yeah, no, he was let go. He was pissed. So Mr. Hastings was let go, and then that's when Mr. Edwards came in. That was my sophomore year.
Yeah, they got him cheap for sure.
No, they really did. Because
that's when I went to high school. That's when I joined the band as well.
Yeah, so you would have been a freshman. Right. I would have been a sophomore. I was in drumline. That's when we became friends, right?
That's right.
And then when we went to that Christmas thing, which I guess technically would have been 92 because I started it.
Well, I sent you the link. I sent you the picture.
You did.
Mark had the calendar still saved where it says December 15th, 1992.
Guys, I literally found some like...
Isn't that uncanny?
Stuff from like old stuff. 1992 calendar that I have. I think I have it in 1991. Why did I save this stuff? I don't know.
That was my other question. Like, what are you? Some kind of pack rat or what, dude?
Pack rat. A pack rat. But, I remember back in those days thinking like, oh no, you know what? Somebody gave me the idea. Probably one of the professors. You guys remember in Suva, they had this project where we did like this time capsule. I don't know if you guys were part of that.
Yeah.
It was this time capsule, right?
I remember that.
Where they had every class, put in some stuff. And then sometime, I don't know what, 20, 25, 30 years later, they're going to open it up again, right? I don't know if they did that eventually.
I don't think so.
But I like the idea. So I think I started saving some of my little things here and there, along the way.
Huh.
Trip. I don't remember the details, and I have maybe like 4 friends that I still from that time in high school. I have one particular friend that I would have been in ASB with. actually 2. And I remember doing a time capsule, and I don't know if it was ever followed up on. So that's a really good question.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, though, when we dug, or rather when we put it in the ground, it was like out in the football field, wasn't it? Or
I never knew where they put it.
I don't know.
I personally don't know where.
I think they had to keep it secret from the kids because we would have find it.
Honestly, I don't think
Probably
they
true.
put it anywhere. They're just like, yeah, save everything, and then they throw it away.
It's in that teacher's garage right now.
they do
Somebody's
it every-
clearing it like for a yard sale.
They do it every year to the kids. We're doing a time capsule. We opened in 40 years, right, guys? Wink, wink.
They go home like, look, kids, look, I got some cool stuff for you.
And then the stuff they don't want, incinerator.
Well, off air, Marco gave Angel a little Nintendo Power Pin. That probably came from the.
That did come from my
came from
stash.
it came from the time capsule. There
It
you
came
go.
from my time
Oh yeah, he had a
capsule.
subscription and everything. He would
So
come
I
to my
had
house. We would play
yeah.
Nintendo, and then he would rip it out. I was like, hold on, I got the cheat code.
See now, okay, so Marco, like, remind me again because, like, dude, I have like memories of all of us hanging out, and it was usually revolved around music. I was telling Angel earlier that you were the first guy that I knew that had you had sheet music for Master Puppets.
I did. No, I had it.
No, for the Black Album, right?
Black Album.
Yeah.
No, you had Master Puppets,
No.
dude. I
No?
swear to God.
I remember the Black Album, Enter Sandman.
did
That's what I
have-
remember.
you
I
did
didn't want
have-
to correct you, but
No,
that's what I
He
remember.
had it, but he had the Master Puppets one. He had like the single sheet.
No, I don't think I had that one.
Really?
No.
Because I'm trying to think if I knew any of those songs. I never learned
No,
any of those
you learned
songs.
Enter Sandman. That's one of
Definitely
the
the
first
Black
ones you
Album.
learned. Yeah, Black
Absolutely.
Album. 1991.
And that I remember because I remember I remember going to your house and you had the guitar and you were playing that. And
Yes.
I don't know if you remember were you ever part of the banda that Oscar from band
Oscar
started?
Jimenez?
Oscar Jimenez, absolutely.
And you
yeah.
remember Pappy?
Dude,
Happy,
that fucker
yes.
still owes me my saxophone. He borrowed it when my goddaughter was in kindergarten. He went to the school to borrow it from me.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll give it back to him. Like, okay.
He still
My
has
it. I have
my
him on social
goddaughter,
media. Go get him.
I do too. And I told him, he just laughs it off. My goddaughter is now 26.
Okay, so
I believe that.
I have a friend who just became she can add Esquire to her name. I'll tell her to draft you an official letter.
I thought
So
you were
maybe
going to
he'll
say
stop.
escort. I was like, jeez.
Okay,
Esquire.
see, Cochino,
Okay,
man, you
question,
always lowbrow.
question. No, no.
Always bring down the quality. No,
I got to be consistent. Okay, I have a question about that Esquire thing. So,
Sure.
so how does that work? Like, do you have to be like a licensed lawyer or something to get to put Esquire on there?
that's a good question. I think it's the second that you graduate from the school. At least that was the old protocol. I imagine now you have to pass the bar to get the Esquire.
Okay,
In
and then
your
what
name.
exactly is an Esquire? Because all I
it's
know
an
is-
old name. It's
all-
an old. I looked it up once. And I was trying to find out, like, for example, when do I? Because I got a master's degree, and I was trying to figure out how to put in my email. And actually, I did it for a petty reason because. Like, normally I didn't care. Like, whatever. I was very proud of myself for getting the master's in special education, whatever. But I was working for this person who kept on throwing in my face, like, her. She was a BCBA, basically a behaviorist, and she kept on throwing in my face, like, her experience. And I hated the way that she talked to me and my staff. So I'm like, you know what? I need to figure out how to put this title on my name so I could, like, email her
Just-
back.
Oh my god.
I need to figure that
You're
out.
probably not alone on that, actually.
And so I did, and after that, I just kept it. I'm like, it felt good. But anyways, Esquire. How do you? I think Esquire actually is it's an old Latin term.
Yeah.
I think it literally means like law or something, or like a master of law or something like that.
Seems that everything that has to do with law, they like to use that old Latin language.
Yeah.
Is it so that we don't understand what's going on? Probably.
So they can act a little smarter than the
That too.
average.
Yeah. So supposedly it says in the United States, Esquire, often shortened to ESQ, is a title of courtesy given to a lawyer and commonly appended to his or her surname when addressing the lawyer in written form. I mean, I'm sure there's more to it than that. That just seems like the short form answer, but I'm pretty certain it has something to do with like it's an old Latin term or something. Like it's a term that's given to people who rise a certain rank. Because I mean, think about it. Like before, the colonies here, like everything was based on a caste system, and the more titles you had, the more important you were. I mean, there was a time like back in the 1500s, 1600s when your wealth was basically your name. You can be the poorest person in town, but if you were the son of a noble, everybody gave you everything. You were given everything for free. But then somewhere around the 1600s, like the merchant class, who in all forms were like not meant to be the richest people, but they were. Merchants became the richest people in the world, and that's why this idea of banks kind of forming this invisible money, this idea that your worth is not based on your title, but based on what you own. That was a hard thing to consolidate. So people like made sure to push titles. Titles,
and
were
then that's also how surnames were invented, like Blacksmith, Smith, shit pusher. No, I'm kidding. But you know what? Then that means that Bill and Ted lied to me. I just said Bill S. Preston Esquire.
Oh, yeah.
Ted Theodore Logan. The Wild Stallions. We had our own Wild Stallions when we met too. We tried starting a band.
Oh, yeah.
Called Cemetery.
Oh my God.
I haven't thought
That's
of that
one
name in a long time.
That was one of the names.
Of the bands.
Bands, plural. Yeah.
We had one before that. Do you remember what it was?
No.
You do not.
What was it?
The Square Jerks. Squirrely.
Well, we went from rap to rock.
Shit. No.
You did not go to, you guys were not, no.
I just remember you did the cassette album
Shut
cover.
up.
I did the album cover. We had songs.
Yeah, we
actually
did.
It was you, my brother, Angel was Manuel. And
Manuel,
myself.
yes.
So we had our own rappers crew.
Oh my God.
Did you guys have like your sweet rhymes and stuff?
We had our sweet rhymes.
Lay them down.
We
Sugar Hill Gang
we
style.
had a little tape recorder where we would, we would do a podcast before podcast was a thing.
Yeah, we would.
Right? We'll talk about that probably in a little bit.
We talked.
But while we were doing those shows, those radio shows, podcast shows, we will also record. We started recording some songs. We laid down a few tracks. I remember, obviously nothing great, right? But
I could see that you're not home since you won't pick up the phone, and I know you're all alone masturbating with a bone.
No, that is so bad.
Why did I remember that?
That is so bad. That is so bad.
Oh my God.
Okay, so can you say it again, but say it slower, and we need to like record that because that needs to be our intro from now
Jesus
on.
Christ. I could see that you're not home since you won't pick up the phone, and I know you're all alone masturbating with a bone.
Boom,
and they had more to it. And I think I had ripped off the background music to Me, Myself, and I. And that's what I went to.
Well, of course, it would be Me, Myself, and I with that whole masturbating bit in there.
I can't believe I remember that right now. I've never thought about that until right now that you brought it up. And then it just like jogged it. It's like, wow. But I don't remember the name though.
Of the group? You don't remember?
No.
So the name of the group was the Young Rappers Crew.
Oh my fuck. Enrique, if you don't want to be friends with me anymore, I totally understand.
No, I mean, of course, now I'm going to make fun of you for this. So thank you, Marco. Thank you for bringing this back into the light where it belongs. Because from now on, Angel's no longer, like, I will never, I remember him with the trench coat and long hair, and he got me into
prior.
I was into metal before him.
Angel before he was Angel.
Well, but now I'll know him forever as I don't know, T-Flab or something. I don't know. Like,
what was our rapping names?
Our rapping names.
Rapping.
Yes,
I remember. I don't remember. I remember my brother Angel was the DJ, so we took a spin on what was in Living Color's DJ's name. What was his name?
KS1.
Yes, so we added some variants to it. Man, I don't remember the names.
I don't either. I just don't remember the Young Rapper Crew at all. I remember the cassette album cover, and then that jogged me for that fucking part that I did, but that's about it.
So believe it or not, I kind of remember one of the lines too. One of my lines.
Which would?
It was downtown is the place to be.
Yeah.
Sky high buildings and luxury. Everywhere you look, you see a killing, and sometimes you might see somebody stealing.
I remember that.
Now, mind you, we're like 13, right? We're like 12, 13.
Yeah. The funny part is, I remember. Now that you said that, you know what I remember? You used to type everything up on your typewriter. For the lyrics and stuff on that beat up typewriter. I remember that
typewriter. I also had what do you call it? A chorus, a hook. It was Love. Love.
I remember that.
Oh no! Oh man! Oh, that's bad.
I totally forgot about that shitty shit. Shitty bang bang, dude. Wow.
Yeah, taking it way back.
There's this show. It's on. It was on Channel 7. The Goldbergs. You guys watch?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. That's
the
a great
whole
show.
thing is just built around
Yeah.
nostalgia. And
The funny part is, like, I watched that thing and I'm like, oh my god, the camera, the video stuff. I'm like, that's me and Mark. And then like,
Yes.
well, the
and-
shirt. There was a shirt that the brother wears. It's it's a purple shirt and with white, like a stripe.
yeah.
And he wears it a
Yes.
lot. I
Mark had a shirt like
Style.
that.
Yeah,
I had that.
yes.
No, I had that specific shirt. I can tell you where it was sold at Levi's Outpost, and I had that.
Levi's
Levi's
Outpost,
Outpost.
yeah.
My parents had bought me that with like a nice pair of jeans over in Huntington Park. I don't know if you guys remember. I want to say that the street was Gage, and it was across the street from the hospital. There was a hospital on that street, and then there was a Levi's Outpost, and my parents would take me there to buy, clothes because. I mean, you didn't go to. Well, we went to the malls, but you would buy from standalone stores, and I bought that shirt. So every time I saw that show and I saw that shirt, I'm thinking like, shoot, I had that. I had that for years. I think I still had it up into my 20s.
My nitpicking ass was always like, I would watch the show and I'd be like, wait a minute, that's not the original. The original was from like 1986, and that's not the one. That's the one that came out in 1994. So this
Yes.
show's bullshit. Bullshit.
So the reason I brought that show up is because the brother, he actually like goes through that whole rapping phase. I mean, he
Oh yeah.
talks about being a rapper, and they do this one whole episode where they're like talking about emulating the Beastie Boys. And
Yeah.
I thought, like, in my head, I was watching, I'm thinking like, I never went through that phase. I never even like.
We did.
I never like fancied myself. I think the word. Okay, probably maybe this is embarrassing. Yeah, it for sure is. I went through a phase where my friends Sergio, Bryant, and Jose. These were like Sergio. I had known him since I was like in second grade.
Shout out to the losers.
Yeah, he was like my homie. We still talk every now and then. We went through the phase where where we wanted to be a dancing crew, right? And so we learned routines out in the yard, and we did them all to like Color Me Bad.
Oh my god.
So I did go through that
wanna
phase.
sex you up.
Yeah. I remember having the overalls, but you know how you would only clap once, clap
absolutely,
one side
yeah,
while the
that's
other
the
one's
way to
hanging,
go.
and you roll up the pant legs, so because you thought you were LL Cool J, and you had like the white. You had like the white, what is it, turtleneck? Because you gotta look fancy under the. Dude, I went through all that
That's
stuff,
fucking funny.
but I never rapped. So kudos to me for not being a rapper.
You know what? You went up 2 points in coolness. You really did. Mine went down because I totally had blocked that out mentally, like the therapy. I went through therapy and everything to get that blocked, and then all the memories just came flushing back.
Well,
thanks, Mark.
Now that we have like recorded
I brought
evidence,
Xanax, don't worry.
Oh, okay.
I am going to like totally put that on. Like that's my ringtone for you from now on. Whenever you call me, you're gonna rap to
You
me.
know what? You know what? I'll do you one better. I'm gonna rip that out, just my track, and give it to you so you can put it as your ringtone.
I need that. That's great. That's the ringtone from now on.
Oh my god, I can't believe I remember that shit.
Yes. So that was really the beginning of our, well, not only friendship, but really you know what? It's the whole entertainment business, I think, right?
Yeah.
It's the whole, for you, it's the creativity, Angel.
Fuck you.
For you, I think it's all, you've been a very creative person.
Thank you.
Yeah. Enrique, you too.
Yeah,
But
no, he's very creative, man.
very creative and but very practical with your music and everything like that, right? You're honed in, you know what you want, you know how to execute it and everything like that. So, but yeah, I wasn't, I didn't have that. I was really an introvert from a kid,
Yeah.
from a young age. So I've always been an introvert
Until you
at
discovered
heart.
women.
Probably, yeah. And then you were around when we both discovered, women, I suppose. But
I was there for your first date.
Yeah, I think you
Or
were.
I wasn't there because
Were you like that dude in the closet? Like, do it.
I would throw kisses. No, he had a crush on this girl, and I had a crush on a girl named Martha, if you remember that.
Wait a minute, no, maybe.
Long haired, jet black hair, kind of Asian-y looking Martha, and I couldn't talk to her because I was so like, whatever. Anyway, you tried to help me out because she was like a little older.
All right.
And then you had a crush on
did have a
Sandra,
crush, yes.
which we didn't know her last name, so we called her.
Is that what we did?
Yeah,
What?
you
Wow.
don't, you didn't know her last name. Do you remember?
Marco,
Well, no, of course not.
remind
You
me.
had her on your phone book under Va 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 Voom. Sandra
What?
V. Yeah, you
Wait,
did
are
not
you
have a
It's
saying-
name.
all
like-
coming out. It's all coming out now.
Yeah, Sandra Damien.
Boom.
But
Yeah, I
didn't know
remember her last name now.
Meow.
But
Right, meow.
Meow, right, meow.
Right, meow.
Meow.
but no, now refresh my memory. There's a lot of things probably I don't remember.
You had a phone book, and then in the phone book you had all these like your friends and all that.
Yeah.
And then for Sandra, you didn't know what to put under, so you put under the V for va 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 boom because you thought she was so hot.
I think possibly you gave her that name because I would never use that word.
Yeah,
but
I
that's
never
definitely
would
your
either.
Type of
That
word.
really
No.
does sound like an angel thing.
Dude, I would not say va 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 boom. Dude.
However, yeah. It's just a real quick sidetrack. That phone book that you're talking about,
you have it.
I found that phone book too. Believe it or not,
way.
Enrique, your number's in there.
No way. What was you got to send it to me. I got to.
And you know what's even funnier, and for those listeners that kind of go back and have listened for a while, you guys once had an episode talking about the old nemesis Frank, right?
Yeah.
So right under
man.
E is F. So I see Enrique's name, and then I see Frank's name right under that. So
That's
I had his name
that's
too.
very
Because
bad
this phone
man.
book took me probably from junior high to through high school or whatever.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a full phone book, right? I mean, we had like a small group of friends or whatever, but it was a thing back then.
As a kid, yeah. That's one thing we don't have anymore. Phone books.
No.
No. I have a password book. I don't have a phone book.
Yeah.
Dude, nobody even remembers phone numbers anymore.
No.
You don't have to.
No,
Yeah, you
I don't.
have to.
I couldn't remember your phone number if my life depended on it.
You remember I remember going to like the corner store with coins just to make phone calls.
Yeah?
You remember that?
Oh my God, that was horrible. Yeah.
Dude, payphones. Where
And
are
sometimes
payphones?
I have not seen a payphone. Actually, I saw one. See, I'm from Bakersfield, right? So there's small
there's gonna
towns
be a
out
few
there.
out
I'm in a
there.
small town. I found one. I said, oh my God, there's a phone. So I went to it, and it's on one of the highways, right? The leading highways that crosses through the countryside. So I said, okay, a lot of truckers, a lot of travelers pass through here. Yeah, once in a while, they might have an emergency, whatever, need a payphone. I go to the payphone just to use it, just to see. I want to use this thing again. This is just a couple years ago. Out of service. They're gone. Yeah, they're done.
A lot of them are, yeah.
That's it.
I think
I have a picture of myself from like 5 years ago. The last time I saw one, and I'm like pointing at the payphone, like because it's like it was
what
so
is
weird
that?
to me. Huh?
Yeah, like
Yeah,
what is that kind of a
Yeah,
thing?
yeah, you can tell a kid what it is. They don't know what that is.
No.
Or they don't know what to do with a pencil and a cassette. They don't know.
No, it is funny how a lot of things have gone obsolete. I just, I told somebody this story the other day. I was in a parking lot of a supermarket, right? And I'm going to my car and I see, a young person and they're going to their car and they're using like the little, what do you call it? The fob, right? To kind of open their locks.
Yeah.
And it wasn't working. They were like at the trunk or at the side door trying to open it. And I realized, they kind of realized I'm stuck here. I can't open my car. The remote doesn't work kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And I kind of looked at them for a while. I said, I kind of see the problem, right? Let me go help them out. And I said, what's the problem? They said, oh, my thing doesn't work. I can't get in. I said, have you tried using the key? Right? And they're like on the passenger side of the vehicle. And they're like, what do you mean use the key, right? The key to start the ignition. I said, and I realized, I said, well, let me check on the other side of the car. And if you guys recall, maybe you guys don't anymore, but the right side, the driver's side of the car usually has a keyhole to actually use the physical key.
Yeah.
So I said, yeah, just use your key. Just put it through the keyhole. She's like, oh my God. She opens it. It's like, I had no idea. I said,
Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah. But who uses that anymore, right? I mean, nobody. That's going to be long gone too.
Yeah, some cars still have. Apparently, there's like a
Hidden keyhole.
A hidden keyhole. You have to. It's either under the part where you hook, and you can
Interesting.
still put it. And it's not like your traditional key where it's still electric. Where even though you're turning it, all it's doing is sending a signal to unlock the door, as
Right.
opposed to the old traditional locking mechanism, which is
Makes
weird.
sense.
And then
Yeah.
some of them have like a clasp that hides it. You have to pop it off.
Yeah.
And then
Nice.
like your fob key, it has a key inside of it, so you have to pull it out to put it in there. On some of them.
Got it.
It's kinda
Okay.
weird, man.
Well, I mean, it's I guess the backup, right? Because you rely too much on technology and electrical units, and then there it goes.
Yesterday I went to Barnes and Noble to just I needed some new books, and they had a music section and a bunch of albums. Vinyl came back. That's great. Vinyl's back, but they had CDs still, and I was like, oh cool, look at, they have that one album. I forgot what it was, but it was an album of somebody that I wanted. And then I started thinking, I'm like, wait, I can't play it in my car. My car does not have a CD player. It has CarPlay.
Where are you gonna play it? Yeah.
So, and then I'm at home. I'm like, I don't have a CD player anymore.
So funny.
So it's like it's funny to me how times change. Where now like we don't have physical media at all. Like I have a DVD collection of 1,000-something DVDs and Blu-rays.
Yeah.
But even then, I've digitalized like 80% of those. So
I remember like we all used to like borrow CDs from each other. Well,
Yeah.
particularly from
Yes,
Angel. Angel had like the most.
absolutely.
I have tons of CDs.
I didn't really have my own. I think I would always borrow them from my sister, and then I know you had stuff. So we would always like. I remember being at your house because you lived. You used to live where I forget the name of the street, but right near where Super A was at, and right behind what used to be Don Chente, which is now like I don't know, like
don't know
it's a
what it is.
taco or it's like a beer place. But anyways, I remember you used to live there, so we'd go and hang out at your place because I think I lived closer to you than I did to him because you lived by the high school.
That was afterwards, though. In the beginning, I lived with him. Well, not with
Right.
him, but behind him.
When we were hanging out, I think you were already living in.
Yeah, because you would go to Josie's and then you would come to my house.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
but Mark was out of the picture then.
Was he?
Yeah.
Wait, when did you move out?
No, you're squeezing a lot of
I
history.
moved out my 8th grade year.
So we all started hanging out when we were in band together, and then you were living. You were living at the high school, and you were
Still the
still
same
living in
place.
the and we
Yeah.
would all because we wanted to be a band together.
Yeah.
Remember? And he was learning guitar. I didn't play anything at the time.
I played the handball.
Wait a minute, you
And
were
then
playing
you-
drums already?
Well, yeah, that's true. I
Yeah, he
played
was-
drums. I think
you
I
had
did.
drum set, right?
I had the drum set. No,
I didn't have. He had.
I had
it,
the drum
and I would
set,
use
and
his.
I would tell him to use mine.
okay.
I bought it dirt cheap.
Got it.
Which my
Yes.
brother stole from me. But
And so
that's-
we were just like we talked about being a band. We literally were Bill and Ted.
yeah, we would sit in the room. None of us actually
And
played an
more
instrument.
air
We would
music
just
than
sit there,
anything,
and then listen to this album. And we were playing an album from a cassette that I would borrow from the Bell Gardens library.
Oh, yeah.
And then we would sit there and be like, "Yeah, that's badass," and we would just pretend. And then we're like, and then all of a sudden we would stop, and then Enrique would go like, "Can we change our band name?" And that was like an everyday thing. Like we never got any music. We never actually
did any
practiced.
music.
That's all we ever did.
Yeah,
I think the young rapper crew got a lot more advanced in Cemetery.
we really didn't start taking it somewhat seriously until after I graduated. And
Yeah.
when I graduated, Angel
Yeah.
was already playing piano a lot more, and we wrote lyrics. So we had like this little booklet. I still have it in my house.
Yeah.
It is, and it actually it was a great idea. I remember being excited about it for years and years, thinking like this actually could be a rock musical. We had like names for songs or little stories. I came up with one or two.
I
of
had
them.
3 acts. It was called The Magic Show. It was the story of a kid named Bailey, who was like now looking back, he was kind of someone on the spectrum. If you think about it, he was through like trauma as a kid. His parents died in front of him, and he was just like an outcast in school and stuff like that. So it was just like this really weird story that I had come up with.
Well, it remind me, he goes into like a kind of like carnival type situation.
Yeah, in his mind, the way he escaped, he's an outcast. So in his mind, he's in this like old big top with like third floor and aisles around him, stadium around him.
The stage,
and,
right?
and the stage. And when he's there, he's the great Salbert, this great magician.
Yes.
And he's doing these magic tricks, but at first he's like a little kid. He doesn't know what he's doing. And in the audience, the only people there is his parents that died. But he starts going more into psychosis and little by little. And then there's this big long clown that is always kind of like edging him on, telling him, hey, yeah, you're the great Salbert, this and that. Kind of like the puppet master type thing. And then after a while, the influence of that evil entity, that clown, is what makes him become kind of like a peeping Tom / serial killer later on. And
Uplifting stuff.
Yeah, and every single time that he killed, it would be because he wanted a new audience member. So every single person he killed would appear in his magic show,
Oh my God.
clapping along to his great Salbert.
So here's a funny bit. Like I edit all of that part out, and in my head, like the show was. The show was just like this guy who created a fantasy world dealing with like his relationships. So each song was connected to a certain person.
To one girl. There was one girl that he was
Was it
obsessed
all
with.
of them were one
It was
time?
all one girl that he was obsessed with. That- it was his Jenny from Forrest Gump kind of thing. And, like that was his.
Yes.
that's
And
the
I'll
thing.
tell you what, it didn't at all like seem as dark as he's making it. But now he's reminding me, yeah, it was a pretty dark.
No, it was dark. The ending is dark. Like he becomes full on. Like he becomes like an urban legend, and he like goes down. He becomes he goes into drag because that's the way he also gets his victims.
Because he's a very stable guy.
Don't you? Yeah, he's not
all
stable.
together.
Wow.
He keeps going down this spiral of insanity. Well, come on, dude. Sex, drug, rock, and drag, dude.
Oh,
Come on.
I remember it. And
Sex, drug, rock, and drag. Come on, fucker. Join the fad. I'll make you see the color of sound. I'll make you feel like no one's around. Something like that.
Yeah.
And it was this great like fucking disco. Like it started off like really like mellow and stuff, and it would just get heavier and heavier. It was a
That
very
was you
heavy
guys'
song.
jam.
That was mine. Yeah, that was my thing.
All right.
So, and then I had another one called Dark Angel, which was just like the chorus was just people going, die.
So where are these tracks? I want to hear them.
Well, that's just it. We never recorded them. These were just
We
things that-
jammed.
Wow,
we did
yes.
play them.
We played them. He would play them on the piano. I was learning guitar at the time, and like I wasn't very good, and so I think
yeah, you were, dude. Shut up.
I played one song. There was one song that I wrote, and it was very, very much inspired by like Oasis, because at the time, I love the Beatles. I don't know if you remember that, but
Yeah.
I was a very big, huge Beatles fan, and initially I rejected Oasis because I thought they were copying the Beatles, and I realized no, they're actually just a
Homaging.
reincarnation of them.
Sure.
I ended up loving them, and so it just so happened that my music initially at the time was kind of Oasis-esque, and so there was this one song where what is, I don't remember the lyrics. I'm not quite, don't have the memory that Angel does, but I think it's something like slip in.
Xanadu, slip into the
That's
place you
the
know
one.
where nothing but your mind can flow.
Yes.
Slip into the place you know where nothing but your mind can flow.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's good.
We
It
also
was gonna be
we-
good,
We
yeah.
also were inspired by Heather Nova's Verona song. Remember?
I remember.
But we changed it because you started adding more stuff to it. But I remember that, and then I finished the song to make it talk about Xanadu, the old poem from Victorian times and stuff like that.
So to cap it, we just never recorded any of this. We didn't even have a means of doing
Yeah,
that.
there was no way of us recording. We couldn't afford it back
Suppose you're
then.
right. It was a lot.
It was a
different
hard.
back
I mean,
then. It's easy to say now, right?
Oh, dude,
Yeah,
I
let's
have the
track it,
board.
yeah.
We can sit down and actually
I know.
record the stuff if I wanted to. We just don't have the time or the presence to do it. But it's all there. And the funny part is when like the Greatest Showman came back, it like got all these images that I had. I mean, they're not completely different stories, but mine had a kid named Bailey, had another bad guy named Barnum, John Barnum, which was a pharmacist, because I used to work in a pharmacy, so that's where I got the idea. And we had it fleshed out. It was a great story, 3 acts. It was great. He came up with the hook or the melody for the main theme, for the Magic Show's theme. And I was like, dude, I was so pumped about it. But it's just
it was that piano.
and then
It was all supposed to be like it was Pink Floyd. Like he had just got
Very.
me into the wall.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I knew of it beforehand because Josie's uncle listened to Pink Floyd religiously, but I kind of ignored it. It was just kind of background noise. But Angel once, like I remember when it happened too. It was a Thanksgiving break, and he's like, "Dude, you know what? Have you heard this?" Like, "Oh yeah, I've heard of them." He goes, "No, but have you heard it?" And I'm like, "Kind of." And he goes, "Here." So he gives me the CDs. He goes, "Tell me what you think." Dude, like I remember just like it hit me. I got it. It was Pink Floyd's The Wall, and I got it. I was just like, this is what I want to sound like. I want to do this.
Nice.
We always traded like what we were into at the moment. So I gave him Pink Floyd. He gave me OK Computer by Radiohead.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Which, by the way, I still have your copy. By the way, I still have it, and it's one of my prized possessions. Dude. I still have that CD, and that album was just like seriously, like
Yeah,
how you see it on videos where
revolutionary.
like the sunflowers open up, your eyes widen, and
Yeah.
Yes.
it was just groundbreaking. So that
Absolutely.
was his influence on me. It was like Radiohead, because
Wow.
I had heard Radiohead, but that album,
Yes.
OK Computer,
Right.
and Kid A, oh, dude,
Yes.
Yeah.
Chef's kiss.
OK Computer is like that time for me. I was working at Blockbuster. I can tell you how I got into that band, and it wasn't like it. I knew of Creep because in high school that was everybody
Who
liked
doesn't
it.
know Creep?
Right.
But I mean, and then I remember hearing, the follow up album. I remember hearing Fake Plastic Trees, and who didn't? It was a beautiful song.
great song.
But like any other great song, when you're in high school, it's there, and then you're on to the next one, right? And the radio at the time was so rich with new music all the time that you could easily forget a song. I mean, it'd be there, but then there'd be a new one,
Yep.
right? So I was working at Blockbuster, and I was working on the one in Whittier Boulevard. Do you remember? It was one of those larger ones.
Yeah.
So it's right next to where there's an In-N-Out Burger there.
I remember where was that. Yeah.
So there was the boss, this nerdy, skinny guy with glasses named Larry, and he was kind of an asshole now looking back.
Fucking Larry.
But for some reason, like, because he was the boss and he was older, I kind of wanted him to like me. I wanted him to be his friend. So I remember asking the dude,
Try hard.
yeah, for real. I remember asking him, hey, Larry, I want to buy an album. Like, what do you recommend? And I could tell that he was annoyed by me asking him this question because he can kind of see through the fact that I just wanted approval, right? I mean, he's the boss and I want approval. It was just kind of a natural tendency. I mean, I'm young and I'm looking for approval wherever I can get it. And so the guy goes, he looks at the music because remember they used to sell music.
Yeah.
And I think I could be wrong, but I think it was the Matchbox 20 album was there, and the OK Computer was there. And there was some other ones, I'm sure. He picks up OK Computer and he goes, you know what? He goes, I think you'll like this one. Take this one. That's it. And I'm like, oh.
He was just trying to get rid of inventory.
I think so.
He was like, here you go. Just take that one.
You know, I ended up buying it. I got my discount on it. And
you could have given him New Kids on the Block and you're like, here, you'll like this. And whole different fucking album.
Would have been a whole different Enrique.
A whole different Enrique. Oh my God. Oh.
Can you imagine? I'd be like, hey.
Arigato, hey.
No, dude. So on the drive home, man, like I'm the weirdo. Like I don't know if you remember doing this, but I used to do this. Whenever I would get a CD, I wouldn't listen to the first song. I'd always skip to either song 3 and 9. You know, I would always skip. I don't know. I don't understand it.
Definitely weird.
That's
Yeah,
I had a theory.
That's strange.
I had a theory at the time that 3 and 9 would always be the best songs on the album, and most of the time it was. I'm gonna pin that idea. We need to test that theory. I'll go back to albums and find
we'll
it.
We'll do another one of those deep dives. Now there's just us and Doyle's not holding us down. So we'll do that.
So, anyways, the song number 3, if I remember correctly, on OK Computer is "Subterranean Homesick Alien." I don't know if you remember that song. It's a beautiful song. Don't play it on the air, man.
I was about to.
Don't play it on the air because I someday we're gonna make money off of this. I promise.
You keep saying, but when?
I don't know, man. I'm praying. Well, anyways, and dude, like it really was like a religious experience driving home from Whittier to my house, listening to "Homesick Subterranean Alien" and just like being like taken away. So at that point, then I go back to the first one, and the first song on that is "Paranoid Android," and you remember that song? Just randomly, dun, 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 right? And just like such a good. And that's all I did the rest of the night. I remember I drove over to Josie's house, and I go, dude, can you come out? And she would have to sneak out of the house, so she sneak out the window, and we were driving around listening to this album. And I remember just like we ended up parking where the McDonald's in Southgate was, and we bought some food, and we were just listening to this. That's all we did. It was a very wholesome like experience. We just sat there, listened to this album, and
ate fries and got fat. It was great.
Well, and here I am today with my Big Mac attack stomach. But yeah,
by the way, I got to try that chicken Big Mac.
Oh, chicken!
It
just came out. I got to try it.
It's dude. I had those like when I used to work there. They're not that good.
No.
I invented that, man. I don't know what. I need to like put my name on the menu. I invented that burger.
They don't give nobody credit.
I'm sure I'm not the only one, dude. Come on, you work at McDonald's, you're gonna get creative,
you're
right?
Get creative, yeah, dude.
Yeah.
But for Mark, the music that he always influenced with me is two bands officially that to this day I cannot listen to without going Mark, and that is Poison.
Yeah.
And Def Leppard.
Bro, Def Leppard. High five. Yes. I do Def Leppard.
Get rock.
Yes.
Let's get rock.
Love
always
bites. Remember that song?
Their first 3 albums are the best.
Hold on. Remember that for school, you wrote a story.
I
and you
did
called it
write a
Love
story.
Bites based on the song.
Yes, I did.
And you even wrote a cover, and it's all like Def Leppard-y, and like it said "Love Bites."
So
I can't believe you remember that.
He was biting
the love.
No, you know how like in the old days people say like you're biting my style. He was biting Def Leppard's like literally.
I took their song and I did a story on it because in class they said you got to write a story and so forth. So I actually still have. I found that journal at home, and it's funny. Yes, Def Leppard, Poison. I mean, again, 12, 13 years old, early 90s, late 80s. Those were the bands to go to.
For me, the reason that I like Def Leppard was my sister, dude, like the first time I had a CD, she had the CD. My aunt had bought my sister a Discman. Remember those, like those really thick, portable black Discman, dude, and they were so janky because if you even like sneezed on it, it would skip. Do you remember that?
Absolutely.
It didn't have like any anti-skip, like technology, whatever on it. The first 2 albums she had was Def Leppard's Hysteria.
Yeah.
And I want to say that the second album was it Morrissey? No, Duran Duran. It was Duran Duran's Rio. Man. And I mean, those to this day are still my favorite, like my favorite bands and albums. But like, she would get mad because my mom would tell her, Cindy, deja tu hermanito usar el disco. Like she say, like let him listen to the music. So like I remember, and I used to be so pissed, dude. But I'd be in my bed and I'd play it from front to back over and over again. And dude, I didn't like Def Leppard at the time, but it was just the novelty of having the disc. Long story short, man, that is like one of the best albums ever. I used to have like these weird little fantasies of like learning the music and playing it for the school at a
didn't we all?
Yeah, you know, like
a rock star or whatever.
Come in and we go, oh my god,
I'm gonna sing Animal for the girl that I like. You know,
I literally grew up in that era wanting to be a rock star. That was literally my thing. I wanted it so bad. Yeah, probably you guys too. And I mean, Angel, you were more into the movie scene, I would say. Maybe always. More into filming, a little bit more.
But I was always musically inclined. I always did a lot of stuff. I always wrote my own songs. I have hundreds of songs that no one has ever heard. I remember when I was 6 or 7, I wrote my first song, which was called Open Windows. And it was basically, I didn't realize this until about like 20 years ago when I realized that it was just a ripoff of Tiny Bubbles. Tiny Bubbles. So for me, it was Open Windows, and I remember Open Windows, do do do, Open Windows, and then it was like just that song, that word over and over, and then To Your Heart. that was my whole song.
Oh man, that's another gem right there.
Yeah, dude, it's classic. So for me, it was always the thing. But yeah, going back, Poison, Def Leppard, always you, dude. I cannot listen to it. I cannot see the logo.
You know, that's funny because I never, I didn't see myself that way. Even like afterwards, right? Afterwards, we got into Nirvana and other stuff and Metallica. And then I switched off completely. I got off of rock, which I'll talk to you guys a little bit about that a little bit later. But going back to that, right? So the years go by, right? Years go by. And one day, one of my brothers sends me a gift, right? This is like in between back then and closer to now, right? And he sends me an album, right, of Poison, right? The best of Poison. And I just thought it was awesome. It was funny. It was great. Because he remembered, like you said, that it was one of my favorite bands, right? And of course, I hadn't listened to that band in over 10, 15 years or whatever. It's like, you know what? There's so much new music, like Enrique was saying. Yeah. Why go back to the old, right? Yeah. But here I am now. And this is right before CDs went obsolete, I think. So I still had a CD player somewhere. So I popped it in. My computer, really. Yeah. So right in the computer, I popped it in the computer. Like, oh my God, all these songs, right? Some that you will hear, like again, you're like, I forgot about this song completely. So there I am jamming on, and guitar and bass. Yeah. So that was Poison. And then like you said, so then I got into this thing, right? What do you call it? Like into this zone of going back and listening to old bands. Yeah. And guess what was the second band I got into? What? Def Leppard, of course. So I listened to them forever. However, if I can piggyback on what you guys were saying, okay, so in that era, like I did get away from a lot of bands that were like really well, like established, beautiful music, and one of them was Radiohead. All right, so I did not listen fully to Radiohead until about 7-8 years ago. Mm-hmm. And so what I did, I listened to the whole album, just like you said, right? The OK Computer and all those albums. And, oh my God, I was blown away. How beautiful their music is.
You want me to blow your mind? I don't know if you know this one, but actually there's In Rainbows and OK Computer. Yeah. They're intertwined.
How so?
So there's a playlist called 0011 I have it. I'll send it to you, Enrique. Okay. It basically, the first track of OK Computer, followed by the first track of In Rainbow, and then keep switching. You'll notice that the fade out of each song connects to the other song. What? It's a sequel. It's a sucker.
That's awesome.
It's a sucker. So that's the amazing. Whole thing, I'll send it to you guys.
Absolutely.
It's on Spotify. I have it. So they are intertwined. It's a perfectly done album, and listening together is pretty mesmerizing.
That is awesome.
Let me, just because I like to fact check this guy on there, and actually it says here, so Radiohead, the 0, 1, and 10, the binary theory.
That's the one.
So 10 days after Radiohead released In Rainbows, Puddlegum proposed the binary theory, a playlist that combines OK Computer and In Rainbows. Here are the original articles that published. So I'm not going to read all of this, but let me just kind of see if I can give a little bit. So I originally wrote these posts about Radiohead on puddlegum.net on October 2007. The first piece was written the morning of the 10th of October, the day In Rainbows was released, pointing out the abundance of tens surrounding the album. I suggested the binary theory, as it came to be known that the album was somehow connected with OK Computer. The post became immensely popular after hitting the front page of Dig. 10 days later, on October 20th,
Oh my God, I forgot about Dig.
Yeah, do you remember? Dig was huge, man.
That was before Reddit, man. That's
Yeah.
huge.
And it stayed relevant up into maybe about 7 years ago. I mean,
Really?
Dig was
Damn.
really big. Like a lot of you can get like all your computer news, all of your music news. It was just a really thorough website.
Yeah, it was really good, man. It was really good.
So it says here that all right. So 10 days later, on October 20th, I followed it with the second piece where I proposed that the 01 and the 10 playlist. This article became even more popular with Radiohead fans, drawing more than 10,000 visits an hour at one point. And I never imagined how widely the playlist and the theory would be embraced and debated. Weeks later, Tom York talked about the theory during a BBC radio interview with Steve Lamacq, and the theory drew even more information. So I kind of want to go into a deep dive in this, but I want other
It's
than
Steve
just
Lemmick, by the way.
Steve Lemmick. Is that how it's pronounced? Okay, I always pronounce it as Lamacq.
No, it's Steve Lemmick. The only reason I know is because there's Chris Morris. I've talked to you about that comedian. He had a show called Blue Jam.
Okay.
And on it, he talks about Steve Lemmick. It's like a running gag.
Oh, that's awesome. I mean, I was thinking, because I've heard the name before, and I always thought that he was a French guy. Like, I'm thinking like Lamacq, because
I think he's a BBC radio guy.
Got it.
That's what I think. That's what he is.
Got it. So, dude, I have never heard this, considering I love Radiohead.
And I can't believe I never brought it up to you.
Yeah,
Especially since we share that. That's a
happens
bond, that's a
sometimes,
bond that we have.
This is something that I really want to know more about. So I will only just say that what an interesting concept. So according to this, so like Airbag, which is on OK Computer, and then 15 Steps in Rainbows, then Paranoid Android, which is OK Computer, and then Body Snatchers in Radiohead, and Subterranean Homesick Alien, which is a beautiful masterpiece.
Gorgeous.
And then Nude in Rainbows. There's a song, I want to say, hold on, yes. Okay, so there's a song on In Rainbows. And it's such a good song. It's called House of Cards.
Oh, I can be your friend. You can be with that.
No. Well, so okay, so House of Cards, man. Don't play it on there. No, don't play it on there.
I'm playing it.
No. Do not. I will just read you the lyrics. Do not play it on there, please. Respect the
Respect your authority.
No, I don't have zero. We have same authority. You can disrespect that all you want.
I always do.
I'm just saying that I just want to see the lyrics. That's all. Okay, so the lyrics are like I don't want to be your I don't want to be your friend. I just want to be your lover.
Yeah.
Because no matter how it ends, no matter how it starts, forget about your house of cards. And I'll do mine. Anyway,
That's my favorite song on that album.
well, okay. Don't say that to your wife, because the whole song is about meeting a person at a key party. You guys are familiar with the
Yeah.
So key party.
That's where I met Enrique.
Okay. Well, I'll tell Marco, and you are like excommunicated. A key party was very popular in the 70s, 60s and 70s, probably even now. Like adults would all get together in the neighborhood, and it was understood that they were going to put their keys in a bowl.
Or a bowl or something.
And by the end of the night, you would pick out your the wife would pick out her keys, or the keys, and whoever that belonged to, that's who you went home with.
Wow.
Wife swapping.
And so essentially, it was like a swapping light, like it's swingers life, as opposed to being in a club, which is more salacious now. And so this song is about meeting a person, and the House of Cards is a reference to the stability of that home life, and like I just let that House of Cards fall where they
I just
may.
love the melody. I don't give a shit about the lyrics.
It's a beautiful song, but also, man, there's just a lot of passion in it, because there's nothing dirty about it. He's really just genuinely talking about, like, I meet you and I want to be with you, and I don't care about anything else that's involved. I just want to be with you, regardless of strings and whatever. And then there's a part where he says denial, because that's obviously the mental state, right? The infrastructure will collapse from voltage spikes. Throw your keys in the bowl. Kiss your husband goodnight. Forget about your house of cards and I'll do mine. Forget about your house of cards and I will do mine. Fall off the table and get swept under. I mean, dude, just a beautiful song. But anyways, the song that's connected to it, according to this, is a song called No Surprises, which makes kind of some sense because No Surprises is such a down, it's a beautiful song, but it's such a down song about mental health. Like, I mean, you're literally at the edge of your like kind of existential existence, right? When you hear that. Anyways, I love this theory, Angel. I wish you would have told me about it years ago. I don't know where you've been lagging, man. Friendship over.
I'm upset that I never showed you that. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. No, seriously, that like I don't know how that escaped me. I think probably subconsciously I thought since you're a huge Radiohead fan that you actually like knew that already. So I think I felt like you probably I'll be wasting your time. That makes sense.
Yeah. But, you know, the thing about it, Marco's like I tend not to know too much of like I don't want to call it conspiracy theory because it's not, but you know, like the kind of theories I don't necessarily hear a lot about them because I tend to kind of stick to main channels on mainstream news or whatever. And every now and then I will hear stuff and then I'll get swept in. Like Wikipedia, when that first became popular, I was like literally going down the rabbit hole on every article. Like I'd start like looking up something about World War II and before you know it, I'm reading about the Roman Empire because like, you know, there'd be like a name. Yeah, right. And then you just and so, you know, now when it comes to these type of theories, I hear about them, but I don't hear them all. And this is the first I'm hearing of this one. And it's amazing. Although, on a funny note, Angel was the one who introduced me to the idea of playing Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon while watching The Wizard of Oz. Like, it was him who told me about that. And we tried, but we couldn't get it right. Do you remember?
It doesn't work. Like that theory, I've always been intrigued by it, but it doesn't work because, first of all, Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon is way shorter than The Wizard of Oz. Yeah. First of all. Second of all, it only matches up like every 2 seconds. And then after that, it's like, it just doesn't. And what's the point? Like, really, what's the point? If it really was true, come on. Gilmore and Waters would have done a much better job than what the outcome of that was. So that's a theory that's been debunked.
You know what's funny? I drove out here in part to swap some cars, right? I brought a car over and I'm picking up another car. The car I have is an old car. It has a CD player.
Nice.
And it had some CDs in there prior to, right? So the CD that's in there right now in the CD
Dark
player
Side of the Moon?
is The Wall.
The Wall.
Yeah.
Funny enough, I bought a car, my favorite car that I had for a long time, which was a 2008 Dodge Charger. I still, to this day, out of all the cars I've ever owned, that's my favorite. In the CD player, they forgot to take out the CD.
Yeah.
Pink Floyd, The Wall.
Yeah. There you go. What's going on here?
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, that's how the universe works sometimes.
So I've in my life, I've only bought one copy of Pink Floyd, The Wall, and I think I own 12.
Well, and I'll be honest with you.
Even the record, the original record.
I've never owned The Wall, and I've listened to it one time. In this car. That's it.
Just the first CD, right?
The whole CD, yeah, the whole
just
CD
one?
of The Wall. Just one. No. Oh, okay. No, just one. I didn't even know.
You're missing out.
I believe you. I mean, like I said, there's probably a lot of music that I missed out on early on. I know you guys refer to a lot of music. I went into a different genre whatsoever. But you know what? There's never too late, right? You can always go back and catch up and see. You know, because music has that kind of capacity. Now, I know sometimes. You know, I'm always curious about the young people, right? Like when they listen to like our music, like do they like it? Do they not like it? But I remember growing up and listening to songs from like the 70s, 60s. The 70s, I really didn't like them that much.
I love the 70s.
But the 60s, I love the 60s and 50s music, right?
I'm more 70s and then 50s, 40s and 30s. 30s and 40s is my, like that's the main stuff I listen to is 30s and 40s. So I don't know why. I've always gone towards 30s and 40s, big bands.
Yeah, big man for sure.
There's this thing that Doyle would always bring up called social engineering. And the idea is that
don't talk about Doyle. He's dead to me.
But it's a cool theory. I think it matches with why you would like stuff from the 60s. And just bear with me a second on this tangent. Well, that's actually on topic. It's on topic. It's on topic. Okay. So the social rather the gosh, I already forgot what it's called. See, this is how my brain works. I get distracted and Anyway, social engineering. What happens is that like all these big companies have enough power to sway how we feel about things, and so they create environments in which we're going to be more likely to like something, move something, be for something based on all of these little kind of micro things that they do, or even macro things, large things, in order to convince us that this is what we like or we want to hear. You can hear it in the radio. Like if you go back, if you think about it, go all the way back into the 90s and watch what MTV was playing and what the radio stations were playing. And it's easy to see how our influences then were pretty much from 30 years prior. So in the 90s, what would have been 30 years prior would have been the 60s.
Yeah, the 60s.
Right. And so stuff like the Beatles and the Yardbirds and the Rolling Stones, and then David Bowie. And then before you know it, we start getting to Led Zeppelin, and we start getting into Pink Floyd and all the other great bands. Right. In the 70s and 80s were still kind of relevant. You can still hear, like, for example, Rick Astley and not like it. You would, if you liked it because it was a good song, but it wasn't because it was ironic, right? I mean, there was a point where liking something else more ironic than anything, right? It's nostalgia kicking in. So to your question, you're saying, what do kids like now? What was 30 years ago? 30 years ago was Nirvana, right? And Soundgarden.
Which is 100% true, because my son is like a big Nirvana fan.
Really?
They're all loving it.
Interesting.
He loves Foo Fighters, he loves Nirvana, and then he loves a lot of new bands that, like, they sound like they're from the 90s for some odd reason. That's the thing. That's what they're into right now for some odd reason. I don't understand.
So just like us, when we were in high school, there was always that group of kids that liked what was current, and it was hard not to. Like that's like they were into the rap. Like Snoop Dogg was pretty fresh at the time, and Ice Cube was just getting all of his his solo career was really just taking off in the 90s. All of that stuff, what was popular in the radio. But I know that I liked it on the side, but as a whole, I rejected it because I was still very much a kid from the 80s. I was listening to Adam Ant. Like, if you saw me with headphones on and I was walking around school, I'd most likely be listening to Devo, Adam Ant, Duran Duran, Smiths, Morrissey, and of course the Beatles, right? Those are the things that I was listening to. So kids now, because I work in this environment, and I can tell you that the same groups exist. There's largely the group of kids that like all the modern stuff.
Sabrina Carpenter
and Taylor Swift, and then whatever trap music they're into, and it's crap. But then you have those kids that somehow are, they're cool, and thankfully there's no Hot Topic to influence them like there was when we were kids. Because if you remember at the time, Melrose and Hot Topic and these places very much like told us this is what counterculture looks like for us. Right. And so these kids don't have that, but nevertheless, they're still the ones like walking around looking like they came out of our yearbook. They're dressed like they came out of our yearbook.
Look at my son.
They're listening to music that's straight out. And so it's a weird and crazy thing, but that's how it works. So if Doyle was here, he probably would like talk about social engineering, because the idea is that you can make money off nostalgia. And there's a lyric from a band, this band that I love called the Manic Street Preachers, and they literally say that nostalgia, there's a price for nostalgia or something like that. I'll look up the lyric later, but it's such a great lyric, but it makes sense. Like it's profitable. So I think that kids today that like good music largely are because nostalgia is kicking in, and they're like picking up stuff from 30 years ago.
I think my older brother had a theory on that too, maybe somewhat similar, but he said that as you're growing up, you're listening not only to your music but to your parents' music, and so that parents' music kind of stays in the back of your head, even though you don't like it necessarily, at the time. But then you grow up and that nostalgia picks up, right? And you hear this song, you're like, oh, my dad used to hear this, my mom used to hear this song, and then that becomes your thing, kind of a thing,
Yeah. It makes sense, but like for me, it doesn't, because my parents didn't listen to any of the music that I listened to. Classic rock was what I grew up with, Headbangers Ball as well, and that's hair bands and stuff like that. That was I was into. I never went with the norm when it came to what was popular. Like I really did not get into Snoop Dogg and all that until like my 30s.
You were always unique. Yeah, you were always different.
And that's putting it nicely. So I always had like a weird spin, and then I got into musicals, and then that's how me and him bonded as well. And that was always different. But if I can say like who showed me that, I don't know. I don't know. I don't fall into that norm, but I could totally see that with other people. And now like I do listen to like trios and boleros because it reminds me of my dad.
Well, there you go.
Yeah,
that's
so that reminds me of my dad. Like stuff like that. Or there's certain sounds that I remember. Like I'd wake up at 5 a.m. My mom was making like breakfast when my dad go to work, and she'd have like K-Love playing, and there'd be like this weird like piano keyboard sound music from Mexican sound, and it's a sound that always will remind me of that moment. So whenever I'm somewhere, if I hear that frequency, it's like that reminds me of my childhood.
Yeah.
So that's funny. I do believe it. I do believe it.
Absolutely.
That's crazy, man. I think I'm sad now.
I was mentioning to you guys, right, that I found the 1992 calendar, and I was rummaging through an old box that I had, right, and I was kind of like cleaning things out. And yes, it was great to see some of those things, but sometimes that nostalgia is not all that great, right? It kind of brings a little bit of that, I don't know, sadness, I suppose, and just you miss the good old days, you miss just no responsibilities or the stresses of life, and the ups and downs and all that stuff. The pagers, yeah. But even just taking away the cell phones, right? No cell phone lifestyle was great in a lot of ways.
You know what I do miss? The fact that back in the days you were not available certain times, so you were not near a phone. Now it's like it's so hard because it's like you have a phone right there, so. It's like, it's weird when someone doesn't pick up. It's like, why aren't you picking up? Like, that's just strange. Because we have a phone in our pocket. We have a computer in our pocket that has so much information. You can just go anywhere and look up anything. Before, I would have said the Radiohead playlist thing, and Enrique would have to go to the library and figure out. And then a month later, come back to me. Remember that one thing you said?
Yeah.
Well, here's the information.
Well, I'd have to take it on his truth that article exists. He'd tell me what the story is, and then I would have to go and find the 2 albums, which I would have at home, and listen to them and then agree with them. So essentially it was a whole experience, as opposed to now where I just read about it. My curiosity gets piqued, and then it gets satisfied, and before you know it, it's over.
And then he puts a pin on it, and that's it. We move on. Like, he's like, put a pin on that. I'll check it out. That's pretty cool. But then we move on.
But to the earlier point that he was making, there's this implied availability we have now. Like, people have access to us at all hours, and we almost got into that conversation with Doyle once on the air too, didn't we?
We did.
The idea that that we have we have to be available, be it from our bosses, be it our wives, girlfriends, friends, acquaintances, and somehow, like, if you don't respond to a text message within the allotted time that person has given you, there's no agreement between us, but nevertheless, you get in trouble for it.
Yeah, it's implied.
It's unfortunate that way, and I sense that too. But one of the best things in the world nowadays is a true retreat. If you were to escape everything and just kind of get away, I know most people can't do it, right? It's like work, family, whatever. But for those that do, it's a great experience, because it's something that you can't buy. You can't buy that what do you call it? Separation, I suppose, right off the grid, quote unquote.
I think that's also a luxury these days to be able to do that, because to be honest, it's like, I can't do it. There's no way I can do it. My family. I'm the only breadwinner.
Yeah.
A family of 6, and I'm the one who only brings in the dough. So for me, it's got to perform. I'll suck but I have to do it. And then, like, just to take my kids to do what, like this, like today, I have a heart out because I have to go take my kid to Bass Pro Shop because I promised him, and he's been bugging me nonstop about it.
Yeah.
What say? Like, it's the table lifting. You just said you had hard on for what?
Hard out.
Oh, keep it inside, bro. Put it away.
Hard outing.
Why is it out?
Well, because you're in the room.
Yikes. Okay, I'm very uncomfortable now. I need an adult. Send help.
Send more paramedics.
I'm going to circle back to earlier when we were talking about the Metallica sheets, right, and tie it into what we're talking about right now, the experience of it all.
Sure, you didn't have Master of Puppets or like Ride the Lightning? Because I swear to God, I remember you having those.
No, it was. Matter of fact, we bought it.
I probably still have it. I don't know.
Dude, we bought it at Sam Ash at Stonewood Mall.
Absolutely.
There was
Sam
no
Ash. You
Sam
were there?
Ash at Stonewood Mall.
Yes,
there was.
That was the place to go. I'm going to tell you my stories right now too.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Let me tell you the story between him getting the Black Album. They had sheet music towards the end of the store.
Yes.
Remember you, me, and was it Angel? Do you know?
I don't know. I don't know. Let me see.
You don't know what story I'm going to say?
Maybe the same one I was going to say. I don't know.
We spent so much time there one time, and I was debating on buying Bohemian Rhapsody sheet music because I wanted to learn it for school. So we were back there for so long that they actually called the cops on us because they thought we were stealing. And the whole time we're just going through every sheet music and playing the melodies in our head.
Yes.
And I'm like, I'm going to get this one. And then he's like, no, but you got to get this one because this one's better. And then I think it was Angel. Who's like, no, why don't you guys get this one because it says it's easy to learn. And I'm like, no. But we seriously spent so much time there that they called the cops on us.
You know, now that you said that, I don't remember that exact story. That's hilarious.
It wasn't security, it was the cops.
But I do remember. I used to go in there, right? Sam Ash. No, not Sam Ash. Sam Goody.
Sam Goody. Sorry, Sam Goody.
I knew it.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's what I meant.
I knew it.
Yes,
there was a Sam Goody there.
That's what I meant. That's what I meant. That's Sam Ash. By the way, Sam Ash just went out of business.
I figured
chapter 11.
This is eventually.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Okay.
back to Sam Goody. So they had a Sam Goody in the right music sheets, all that stuff. They had it in the back, like Angel said. And so I used to go back there, not just that one time. I used to
go all
get
the time.
on my bike, right, on my bicycle from home. I used to bike all the way over there after school just to look at the sheet music so that I can memorize it or learn pieces of it, because that stuff was expensive.
It was expensive.
Yeah.
It
We
was very
couldn't-
expensive.
I don't know how long it took me to save up for that Black album. I mean, I had to have it, right? It's like
Yeah.
I had that music sheet before I had the Black album
itself.
CD.
Yeah.
Right? It was ridiculous. And we couldn't look it up online, right?
there
So
was
it's
no
like
place.
I had to literally either memorize or take a pen in there and kind of write the notes on my hand, kind of. you
Yeah.
know? And half the time I get home and like half the notes were wrong, but I play it like that anyways.
That's how people did it.
But nowadays, you go, you look at it, you take out your phone, camera, click, 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 and you're done. You go home and you're done.
and that's why
How you
Sam
set
Ash
yourself to- yeah, that's why I
filed
went
for
out
chapter
to-
11. That and guitar tabs online, because
Guitar tabs
that
online,
website. Do you guys remember, like, back in the late 90s, early 2000s, like, there were like all the tabs for music were spread out everywhere, and everyone was trying to sue everybody.
Yep.
And there was one particular one called Guitar Tabs Online, and they were kind of like the de facto place to get tablature, but then they got sued. But eventually, they're the ones that won out because they became too big to break down. They started making deals with like all the publishers, and
And they have everything.
Bob's your uncle. Now you can just, like, you can buy the app and you can get a bunch of free tabs. And I mean,
I did not know that.
I used
yeah,
to,
in my bag I still have. Speaking of tabs,
I learned Home Sweet Home from
Yeah.
Motley Crue from Circus Magazine. You guys remember Circus Magazine?
Yeah, Circus Magazine. Oh my God.
That's where I learned Home Sweet Home from.
Oh my God, Home Sweet Home. That song.
see, look,
Oh
hey,
yeah, I just played it a couple of years ago too, because I kind of went the other route. With the music genre I went into, and then later experiences, I had to learn a lot of music by ear. So I developed a lot of ear, and I kind of enjoyed that a little bit more. So like Home Sweet Home was one of those songs I got out the other day on the guitar, and oh my God, it was
House
amazing.
of Cards.
There
you
it
have
is.
I have like the tabs. I literally downloaded the tabs for House of Cards like a few weeks ago. So I have all these tabs in my.
It's on paper.
And for all you younglings, papers, what happens to trees when you kill them?
House of Cards acoustic. No need to drop D. Just pop a capo on first fret.
There you go. Pop a cap.
Pop a capo.
You got to go like sopranos on it and pop a cap, and then you can play it. You have to like sacrifice somebody to the gods. I actually have Subterranean Homesick Alien too. The tabs on that one. Apparently, I don't know. I gotta organize them. Oh, here you go, sir. Tabs.
All right.
So yeah, you can totally
I
get
don't
tabs.
wanna be your friend. I just wanna be your lover.
We're gonna get demonetized.
matter how
We got to be monetized first, don't we?
I know, right?
Yeah.
You cannot take money out of a rock, dude.
No, yeah. So yeah, in my hand, I have the single reason why you can't buy sheet music really anymore, because you can just get it for free from some wacko who decided to tab it out the best they could. And half the time they're wrong, you know.
Oh yeah, they're way off.
So like I can't tell you how many times like I'm playing it on my guitar and I'm like, no, that doesn't sound right, and I have to find the right note for it and stuff. So I've fixed a bunch of them for me.
Damn, the time went by so fast.
It
on this
did.
one.
Good talk.
Yeah.
How'd you like it?
Loved it.
Yeah, not a nervous mess.
No, I mean, I've known you guys forever, so I think that
Yeah.
kind of helped out a little bit.
Absolutely.
Just chilling, hanging out. But like I said, it was funny. At first, I was like starstruck a little bit. I was like, wow, look
Oh,
at that.
shut up.
I hear you guys, and I'm like, yeah, I'm right here with them.
Right. Well, now you're
Now I
you're
get to
in.
hear myself.
Now you're in it.
On the
You're
podcast.
part of it. You're back here. You're on it, and we gotta do it again.
Absolutely.
We didn't talk about the banda stuff. We didn't talk about all the famous
True.
people you were
Yeah.
house bands for, like
Yeah,
Pepe
yeah.
Aguilar, Gerardo
Mhm.
Ortiz.
We can always,
Jesus.
come back and
We got to
talk
do a part
about that
2 of the
little bit.
banda stuff. Dude.
Absolutely, yeah.
We're
A lot
gonna
of good stuff there.
Outcast Banda.
Well, you
Yeah.
guys can do more rap.
I'm gonna
bring Cemetery
I'm gonna
back.
write a new rap to Cemetery.
I still think Cemetery was an awesome name.
And
Look, I don't even know if it's
that
taken
logo
yet.
we had was great.
Yeah. Oh, the logo's great.
Remember
You're
the-
right.
yeah,
I
the
do
logo's
remember
great.
the logo. I do remember it.
Good memories. So
I completely
Anything with
forgot
it?
about it, man. I completely forgot about Cemetery, but that is a great name. That is a great name. I absolutely agree.
Anything you want to plug? Anything you want to talk about before we go?
But not necessarily anything I want to plug necessarily right now.
Or a
Maybe
message?
yes. I have 2 things that I'm working on right now, guys. One is I'm working on a platform. I'll let you guys know what it is later, but it is
Nice.
a platform that is set out. It's going to be called Charity Vibe. Maybe I won't give a lot of details right now, but the idea is a reward system for donors and volunteers. It is something I'm working on as a venture project with a few other people, and also another application, a prayer app. A prayer app that allows people to chime in there, no denomination, not even have to believe in God. Just ask for prayers, and those prayers will be set out to different organizations or groups, prayer groups throughout the different churches or countries or cities, and then it'll be a massive,
What a great idea.
Yeah, thank you.
That's-
Yes.
Yeah, that's a great
very
idea.
lovely.
I like that one.
Yeah, so I'm working on those and I'm developing them, so I'll let you guys know a little bit more as those come along. But overall, I think a send-off message. Guys, I do want to say we used to have a poster on my office. You used to say, life is a roller coaster. You have your ups and downs. So you might as well enjoy the ride, right? So with the ups and downs I've had in life, I gotta say, you know what? You gotta be just understanding you're blessed every single day and take one day at a time and just move forward. And that's what I'm doing right now. Yeah.
Enrique, anything quick?
Life's a garden. Dig it.
Nice. And remember, everyone, never make eye contact while eating a banana. Good night, everybody.
Unless he likes it.